So here we are. The stored procedures and the functions and the triggers will be stored in this folder. If we expand the programmability, we will see the stored procedures, functions, triggers. Now let's focus with the stored procedure. We can simply right click on this stored procedure folder and say a new procedure. This is auto-generate script to help you to create stored procedure quickly. If you don't want to use this script, you just need to go, for example, a new query and say use the database, which is already selected here, so no need for this. And now we need to create stored procedure using the create keyword and then the keyword procedure, and then give your procedure the name, like for example select or students select, for instance, and then go new line. Here, if your stored procedure will receive parameter, it's like a function, so stored procedure can receive parameter. If the stored procedure receives parameter, you can mention your parameters here. How to mention the parameters? You can simply like say the @ sign and then mention your parameter name, like for example ID, and the type name for this. If you have more than one parameter, you can just simply say comma and another parameter like name. And for example, the type of this, let's say varchar of 50. This is how we can define parameters as an input for our stored procedure. For now, we don't want to have inputs. Then create procedure and the procedure name, and we should use the keyword as, and then we can say begin, and this is used to mention that the procedure execution or the procedure logic will begin here, and we can simply say end to say that this is the end of the procedure script. And inside the begin and end, I can simply write my SQL command like select star from students. And then I can say execute. Commands completed successfully. Go to stored procedure and say refresh. Here's my stored procedure. By this way, I have a saved SQL query which I can use in my application rather than keep saying select. So I can write this script one time and use it again and again in my application. And how to use the parameters? If I have like, let's say @id of type integer, parameters as ID, I can use this ID in my script like select star from students, where student ID equal ID or @id, this variable. So this is how I can use the parameters from the stored procedure in my query. I will close this for now, and I will close this. Now we have created this stored procedure. Go to it and say modify in order to modify the stored procedure. The difference between modify and create is the keyword. It was create to create a new stored procedure, and here we just need to modify the existing stored procedure using the alter keyword. Now, if my parameter will receive ID, for example, of type integer, and I need to use this ID here, like where student ID equal to at ID, and simply I can execute it. Commands completed successfully. That's how we can update the stored procedure and how we can create the stored procedures.